Hey gang, welcome back to another video here at Joe Daddy's Garage. This is Brooklyn Pony Part 47. That means there's a lot of videos on this car, and if you haven't seen it, you should go back and look at the other videos, because basically I'm rebuilding a 66 Mustang convertible from a few original parts and a lot of Dynacorn panels. Now this car has a TCI suspension system under it. It's got a 347 stroker engine, a 4R70W transmission, and a variety of other custom work that's been done to it. Now, with this suspension system from TCI, it involves removing the shock towers. In this case, I never installed shock towers because I started without shock towers. I put on the front frame rails, I put in the suspension system, and so there never were shock towers on this particular car. I also used Dynacorn one-piece aprons. So there's no split anymore between the two panels, and it makes for a cleaner look. Now, there's one more thing that has to happen. If you'll notice over on this side over here, the passenger side, it's blacked out. Well, that is the filler panel that TCI supplies. And to show you, this is the one for the driver's side. Now when you get these, they come raw. There's no coating on them at all, and you have to put something on them. In this case, I prepped the metal and I sprayed it with epoxy, and as you can see, it laid out really nice, really smooth, and I'm very happy with how that looks. You also notice, hopefully notice, there's a series of holes on the perimeter of the panel on both sides, and the upper 3 holes match what would have been for the original shock tower opening, let's say, where it would have had the little covers for the springs bolted on. And that's what these holes represent. So these holes actually line up to the holes that are in the Dynacorn one-piece aprons. Okay? On top it has 2 additional holes. Has 2 additional holes, and then a center hole. This is where one of the fender bolt holes lines up. Now when you get this kit, it comes with hardware to attach these, but one of the things you have to do is drill some holes, because these lower holes don't exist in the panel, in the original or in the Dynacorn one piece. So you have to drill these holes. That all sounds really simple, and as you know, things never go as planned. So I've been trying to figure out a simple way to make these fit the car, and I'll show you why they don't fit and what I need to do to make them fit. But as you can see, one of them is just sitting right there, and this is the other one. So let me show you the conflict with these panels. So as I was saying, you have 3 holes on this panel, front and rear, and these side panels are designed to fit one side and one side only. There's also existing holes up here at the top, and all that corresponds to this panel. The biggest problem I have with this is getting it to go low enough onto the apron to fit properly. What happens is, as I come down, it starts to hit down here on the top of the reinforcement brace for the coilover shocks that is part of the TCI kit. Now, I don't know if they designed it that way on purpose or if it's just how it is. I don't know for sure, but I can tell you that it will not go down. So if I push this panel back and I make it square off onto the brace, I can show you that I've got about 5/8 of an inch up here that it needs to go down before it'll fit properly. So my plan is, I'm going to enlarge this opening right here. Okay? Now if I take this and I just let it ride down and separate down here away from this apron, push out, because it'll hit the inner structure here as I was talking about, it will line up with the holes. But again, this isn't going to work. You know, when you fit your hand back there, it's not a good thing. So at this point, I already know I need to remove at least 5/8 of an inch. Now, 5/8 of an inch is just going to put you right flush onto this structure here. So I don't want that because it could vibrate and chatter and make noise. So I will actually start off with 3/4 of an inch that I want to remove. And to do that, I'm going to make sure this sits pretty square. Compare the gap side to side up here. Make sure that it's an even cut. And I can already tell you it's not, because if I line up with this piece, I can put my fingers all the way under in the front, but in the back, it's tighter. Not by much, but tighter. So I'll have to do some measuring and come up with a number or a design, a shape that I want to cut to. And when I get to that point, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so for simplicity's sake, I want to create a line, that I can cut to. So if I take a piece of, this is labeled as 3/4 inch tape, but it's not actually 3/4. It's more like 11/16 tape. But it gives me a reference point that I can use. And I will tell you that the back edge here was a little bit tight compared to the front. So I want to expand this a little bit as well. And again, I'm just kind of making visual references by doing it this way. So in this case, I'm going to tape past the edge instead of here where I'm taping to the edge. And then what I can do, I can draw a line with a silver Sharpie. And same way here, I can draw to the inside of this edge. And that way I have a reference point. So as I was saying, get a silver Sharpie, draw that edge, and so now I have an idea of what I want to cut out. Now here's the thing. You could use a variety of things probably to cut this. And I'm going to do a little bit of an experiment. I don't want to use a plasma cutter. That's too aggressive and can burn off the paint that I have here, which is not a big deal because it's going to get repainted anyway. But I was thinking about ways you could do this. Now, as I've shown, when I drilled or made the hole down here in the core support, a lot of times if I need to make a hole somewhere, I'll drill a series of holes around the edge and then break those loose and then smooth them up. So technically, if I wanted to, I could just drill a series of holes all the way across here and then break those edges off and then sand them smooth. That's one idea. Another one, I could use that diamond wheel from Bad Dog Tools and just cut a straight edge. And that may be one way that I do it. Another idea is to use the nibbler. Now I don't know if my nibbler tool is powerful enough, but I may try to use the nibbler to chew off and chew a line through this and get rid of this extra material that I don't need. So I think I'm going to try the nibbler on this side and see how it works. This welding table is so handy. Now, of course, hearing protection, eye protection, and we're going to see if this old nibbler that I have will do the job that I hope it will. I've had this for quite some time, and you have to be careful with these because you can overcut. So let me just see if I can get something going here. See, that's the nice part about it. See if I can zoom in a little bit. Nice straight line. But now, can I make the turn? That's the fun part. let's see how it fits. That's pretty close, actually. I've got a nice gap above that support structure for the coilover shocks. Still a little bit close back here in this corner. I can adjust that. That's easy enough. But now it's sitting up just a little bit, and you wonder what's holding it up. It's actually the bottom, where the corner or the edge down here meets the frame, and that's what it's hitting on currently. So that's just a matter of taking some material off the bottom, maybe just on the front. Might be good just on the front, and then that'll help it settle in. And then this back edge, like I was saying, it's hitting back here right now, but you know, that's why you take off a little bit in this instance at a time. So I'll increase that and eliminate some more material and shorten up this leg, and I think it's going to be fine. I'm sure if you wanted to, you could clamp a backstop up here so that this part of the nibbler hits it. I'm just doing it freehand. After a couple of test fits and a little bit more trimming, it now sits like it's supposed to. However, there's still some more conflicts, and I'll show you that in just a second. But there is clearance now here at the bottom, clearance around the inner structure there for the coilover shock, but there's a problem with the bolt holes. Let me show you that. Now, looking at it from the top, the two upper holes line up fine. The gap that I created following the lines are already there, just made them a little bit bigger, so that works. Up here though, that upper hole, that one's pretty close. The next hole down, well, if you look at it from the right angle, it's kind of close. And then the third one is actually off quite a bit. The way the camera's looking at it looks pretty close, but it's not. On this side, that's the bottom hole. Then the next one has a little bit showing and a little bit showing at that one. So what that means is more modifications. And ideally, I want to keep the holes that are in the panel. So looking at it from this side, you can see it's close on that one. Bit of an overlap. And now you can see that one better. And again back here, just not good. Now, I think for cosmetic sake, I would like to keep the holes that are in the panel and modify the holes that are in the apron, because I can weld those, re-drill them, and you won't see them. They'll blend in behind that panel and look a lot smoother. I could do the same out here, however, I don't want to run the risk of having distortions in the panel. So what I plan to do is close up or try to remedy those holes. And then also I have to drill these holes down here. I don't know if you can see them very well with all the dark paint, but those two holes there, and same way in the back. There's one down here behind the upper control arm bolt, and then another one right there. So anyway, I think what I'll do is I'll mark the holes with Sharpie and then make the decision how much I want to modify. I know I can, the bolts, I'll show you the bolts in just a second. They are, what do I say? I would say Allen head button head bolts or something like that. But I guess the socket head, button head, socket, cap, screw, something. Or the bolts that go in there. So let me show you those. Alright, so this is why you label things. Apron panels. And I'll point out that the kit paperwork that I still have from TCI says install the 5/16 button head bolts. So anyway, this is what they are. They're, you know, button head, Allen head, captive screw socket thing. Okay, whatever you want to call them. They are 5/16, and the bolt holes that are in the panels appear to be 3/8. So I might be able to get in with some room. That might be a little bit snug there. And now these, none of them will fit. None will fit. Alright, so I marked the lower holes that need to be drilled. This hole, I think I can just enlarge it just a little bit, and the washer to go on the backside will compensate, and that'll be fine. These over here, not so much. This is way off, and way off. So looks like I'll be welding these holes shut over here and then re-drilling them. Okay, so what I want to do is indicate where these holes are ahead of time. I know I've already circled them, but when I start welding it could burn off the mark. So I'm just going to take a small drill bit and just drill what would be the center location of those holes. And hopefully that'll give me a good reference point after I weld. So I'm going to drill some holes in here. So that'll keep that whole location. So this one I could probably leave because it's so close to the edge, but I'll drill this one down here. And then while I'm here, I'll drill the other holes that I will need later. I don't know if you can see that one there, you know, the ones I've already circled out. Yeah. Probably need a shorter drill for those lower ones. Maybe this angle is better, I don't know. Let me see. Now these lower ones actually go through the frame rail as well. And this one, I can get to it, but it's hard to see. It's almost behind the control arm. Now that one I may drill back through from the back side, just because I have more access, because it'll be harder to get a bigger drill in there. And other than that, I'm gonna weld these up and again enlarge these holes as needed. Okay, so as you see, I have cardboard blocking off the engine and different areas of the car. What I want to do is bare some of the metal around these holes. I know it's kind of hard to see, but I couldn't get the camera as close as I wanted. But if I just take off some material. So I'm going to weld on that bottom edge. Now I'm going to do something a little bit different that I haven't done before, I haven't shown you before. I have a piece of copper plate that I'm just going to use as a backing. Now I normally don't even use a backing plate, but I just wanted to show you something because you may have some troubles making a weld fill a vertical hole like this. So if you have a backing plate, and it could be copper, it could be aluminum, just something to get you started, then that'll help with filling that hole. So hopefully the angle is good enough here. I can't really tell, but we'll have a look and see if this works. See if I can set the camera so you can get a little tighter shot on this upper one. Probably as close as I'm going to be able to get on that one. Now I'll just grind down those welds and then I can re-drill the hole, and if I need to, I can come to the back side and add some weld to the back side of the hole now. I'm going to add a little bit. Man, what a great job that thing does. Okay, now that I have the holes welded shut, and I have to repilot or re-drill this middle hole because I didn't get the pilot hole where I wanted it. I can come back in, and what I've done is I actually set the panel back in place and then circled that hole again, so now I know where I need to drill. You know, I was checking these holes, and I thought they were 3/8, but with my step drill, it says it's 11/32. So, at least now I know what size I need to drill to. Now, of course, this one I'm going through the frame rail along with the skin. May have to use a segmented step drill that has fatter lengths on it to get a clean hole all the way through. Holes are all cleaned up. It's time for a test fit. Voila! That works. Yep. Got my clearance that I need down below. Lines up pretty nice. And then have the gap that I need. So really, that's going to be it. Alright, that's going to be the end of this video. Now I still have a little bit of work to do on the driver's side. I have to drill those the 4 holes, 2 front and 2 aft, through the apron so that the bolts will go through just like it did on the passenger side. So I still need to do that, but as far as I'm concerned, that's a big check mark on the list of things that need done for this car. I hope you learned something from this. I hope the video wasn't too long. You know, occasionally I get people that say I talk too much or I explain too much or whatever. But hopefully you found some information that may be useful and maybe some ideas you could use on your project. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I want to give a shout out to all of those who have been helping me out by buying stuff off of Amazon, who have become patrons on my Patreon account, and for those that have been buying products on Teespring. There's a variety of stuff on there. Go take a look. Maybe you'll find something you like. And again, shout out to Grease Rookie Garage, Andrew, for helping me with the designs. So go check out his channel as well, and he has some products that he's selling, so check him out. That's going to be it, and I'm not sure what the next video will be, but there will be another one, I promise. So until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya. Hey gang, where the shock towers were, I'm using hex captive something. The upper hole, sorry about the glare. Allen head, button head, none of them will fit. Captive screw socket thing. Okay. Now, I still have to do, button head, Allen head. Oh, there it is. You see the red button? No, it's right there. Okay. So until all right. So I'm done with this video. No, I'm not. I'm not done.